Hi, I'm just doing a quick demo of the Echoczar Toneczar, Echoczar Angel Baby, and the expression pedal, which I have just sold on Reverb and am shipping out to a new buyer today, which is December 9th. I just wanted to make sure that everybody had a chance to kind of view this, especially the new buyer, just to understand some of the weird things that you need to know about this pedal, because it's very, very special and cool, but there's a ever so slight learning curve. So just really quickly, very, very important, when you set it up, you must plug the expression pedal. I plug it into the expression repeats. Has to go in here. You have to follow the directions exactly. There is a risk of damaging the unit if you don't. The in, so the guitar in this case, it's an Ernie ball, is going to the in, which is right in the middle. It's not on the sides like other sort of guitar pedals. And then the out, which goes to your amp, in this case, is going to a Tone King Imperial, which is a very good kind of clean amp to try this out on. You do have the option for stereo out. In this case, I'm just going to use the single effect out because I only have a single effect in. In my previous rig, I was using I was doing a dry wet situation, so it was fine. And then the Angel Baby over here is what gives a modulation. So effectively you have three really nice analog delays in one pedal. So you have two delays in here, unmodulated. You have one more delay in here that is modulated. So, you know, people think of, a good example might be like a Deluxe Memory Man or something like that, where you can hear the modulation on the repeats, and we'll talk about that in a second. But the way this works is when you plug in the Angel Baby, you pull over some of the functionality. So it does get a little bit confusing at first, but it's pretty straightforward. So I'm just going to show you just how it kind of starts, right? This is how you turn the unit on. Pedal on the left, right? No delay. There's the delay. I have it on heavy mix here, so I'm going to show that in a second. So expression pedal, I have it set up to control repeats. Right now, infinite repeat. Infinite repeat. Right, and anything in between. Fun feature on this is it actually has a safety knob. A safety knob is used to cancel the self-oscillation. So the thing with analog delays is once they start repeating heavily over and over, they start to self-oscillate, and it's like a runaway delay. This stops it. You can turn this feature on or off. So here's just how it works. I'm going to go for make it self-oscillate. I can shut that off with the safety. This controls it's basically, think of it as the amount of prevent. So it's still going to self-oscillate. I can shut that off with the safety. I have a range of adjustability. Of course, I don't have to use it. I can turn that on and off, right? So let's talk about the delay section. Right now I'm on the green channel. Typically what they tell you is to set this up with the green channel is your slapback. So I have it going basically one repeat. Slow, or a quick slapback, you can change the time. Just to kind of show how the light changes with the time setting. Here's your mix control. I can go from dry all the way to fully wet. So we'll play the repeat, and you have anything. I tend to like it around 30% or so, almost with every delay I've ever used in my whole life. You have different settings. I have it on the off setting. There's like a multi-head. It kind of gives you a little bit of a fake space echoing or almost an echo-ecky kind of sound. You can put them in phase, that meaning the repeats, you can put them in phase. Or you can put them out. That's more to do with if you're using stereo. So this is your green channel. You also have a yellow channel, right? When you have the Angel Baby plugged in, the time is actually controlled by the Angel Baby. So if you see, this is important, there's no red light here. There is a yellow light on. That means I'm on the yellow channel. When I turn this on, this means I'm on delay 3, which is controlled with that, but I'm gonna get there in a second. So now, if I play this, I can change the delay time, add more delay over or more time. Again, the light's giving you the indicator and everything in between. There's different delay modes, different kind of sounds. There's a vintage mod, there's an echo versus delay. I find the echo a little thinner and brighter, to my ear anyway. So if you notice, but again, Angel Baby is off, yellow channel is on, right? This is not going to do anything, right? This doesn't control anything while this is plugged in. If I were to unplug it, it would. Your delay right now, the yellow channel is controlled by here. So if I turn it up, you can see slowing down, which is longer time. Turn it back, slower time. So this is slap back, this is shoegaze, and everything in between. So that's how that works. Again, you have your mix knob here for that. The Angel Baby channel is very interesting. So what happens now, if I turn that on, right, what this is showing me is not the delay time. It's showing me the rate of the modulation. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the mix all the way up so that we can really kind of hear that. And I'm going to get the time going a little bit. So there's 3 settings for this. I'm going to start with the solo, which is the sort of thinnest of the modulation. So I'm going to turn the repeats up so you can hear it a little more. Right? I can put the depth up so you can hear that. Right? I can turn the rate down so you can distinguish it a little more. This red light is the rate of the modulation. It is not the time or the amount of feedback or anything on the delay. It is just the modulation. So I'm going to turn the depth all the way up, the rate down so you can kind of really hear it. I'm going to just change the time a little bit. Right? So that's very, very deep. Right? You can kind of hear it going in and out. So that is the solo. This is the duet. A little more kooky. This is the, I believe they call it trio. It's almost more delay lines than that. But again, once I click that button, I'm shutting off the delay 3, going back to delay 2, right? So now there's not going to be any modulation, right? Just back to this old guy here, which is controlled by this. You can hear it. And it is not controlled by this. It don't do nothing over here. All right, so I'm going to turn the mix down again so you can hear it. You can also switch back to the groove. Remember, here's my slap back with a different mix setting. Here's my long. Now my long. Here's my slap back. Turn this on so when I jump over, here's my slap back. Now it's going to be the heavily modulated thing over here. Ready? Right? So the thing I love about this is it gives you can do some, right? So I push the pedal down, I'm jacking up the repeats. Oh no, I'm self-oscillating. I can turn on my safety. This basically, again, controls that amount of oscillation. That's it. On, off, switch between delays, turn on your safety, all the buttons work, everything works great. Really, really important to keep in mind, power. You must use 18 volt DC negative tip. In this case, I'm using it with a Chox DC10, which I have set to 18 volts. It's coming out of the 18 volt section, coming all the way in over to here. This works great. It's, as you can tell, it's not loud. There's no real noise in the room or anything like that. Even with the delay on, I'm gonna turn it up. Nothing. This is a great power supply, but you have to use it on that 18 volts. You can see it's got a little meter here. This is the only thing plugged into it. This is telling me it's drawing 100 milliamps. I think in the manual they say it's more than that. They say I think you need a 300 milliamp, but in my experience, it is not drawing, quite frankly, anywhere close to that. But you still should follow the directions. So if you don't, it may have a weak delay. It may not perform as expected. But other than that, just want to show the overall condition. This is number 0141. I have sent some emails to Ed Rembold because this unit I did have to send in for service. The repeat control was replaced because some previous owner had put a washer under it, presumably just to kind of stick it in place, and what that ended up doing was just pulling the pot apart ever so slightly. So I sent it back to him. He recalibrated it, he replaced the pot, he did a little bit of adjustment so that there's less risk of harming the unit if you plug something into the wrong thing, which is the one kind of knock on these pedals, is you just got to remember what to do. Again, it's not that hard. There's an in, there's an out, and there's 2 expression repeats. This has taper controls in it. You want to control repeats, I believe you have to have these up. I think you can control time if they are down, right? This has a out, which is used to connect to the yellow. But I believe you could also set it up so that it was controlling the rate of delay 3 using this expression. But you have to use these units together. Don't use another expression pedal. Don't use anything else. This is a TRS cable, this yellow one. This is a TRS cable. Don't use anything else but these. But other than that, the unit is phenomenal. I was just using it at home, sort of in my kind of home studio area where I make little recordings and stuff like that. But I think you'll really love it. All right, thanks.